Hello all, welcome to Cyber Platter. This is a video on ISC Square CCSP, Certified Cloud Security Professional to help you prepare for the exam. Today we will cover a portion of Domain 1. So this is our agenda for today. Domain 1, that is Cloud Concepts, Architecture and Design, covers 17% of the CCSP exam. Today we will understand the Cloud Reference Architecture, that is the section 1.2 of Domain 1. It covers cloud computing activities, service capabilities, categories, deployment models, shared considerations, and impact of related technologies. Cloud Reference Architecture. ISO IEC 17789 specifies the Cloud Computing Reference Architecture CCRA. The reference architecture includes the cloud computing roles, cloud computing activities, and the cloud computing functional components and their relationships. Cloud computing activities. Similar to traditional computing environments, cloud computing requires a number of activities to be performed by several parties in order to build, deploy, secure, audit, and manage systems and data. Cloud computing activities fall into three groups. First is the activities that use services. This is mainly related to the cloud service customer. The second are the activities that provide services, and this is related to the cloud service provider. Then activities that support services, and these are related to the cloud service partner. Let's discuss some of the key roles performed by the cloud service customer. Cloud service user uses these cloud services. For example, an organization can be the cloud service customer and the employees of the organization are the cloud service users. Cloud service administrators test these guys test cloud services, monitor services, administer security of services, provide usage reports on cloud services, and address problem reports. Cloud Service Business Manager oversees business and billing administration, purchases the cloud services, requests audit reports as necessary. Cloud Service Integrator connects and integrates existing systems and services to the cloud. Cloud Architect evaluates cloud technologies and services and designs the overall architecture of the cloud deployment to meet organizational requirements. Let's discuss some of the key roles performed by the cloud service provider. Cloud Service Operations Manager oversees and manages the operation and performance of cloud services provided to customers. Technical Account Manager provides account support and high-level technical guidance to cloud customers. Cloud Service Deployment Manager gathers metrics on cloud services, manages deployment steps and processes, defines the environment and processes. Cloud Service Manager delivers, provisions, and manages the cloud services. Cloud Service Business Manager oversees business plans and customer relationships as well as processes financial transactions. Customer Support and Care Representative provides customer service and response to customer requests. Intercloud provider is responsible for peering with other cloud services and providers as well as overseeing and managing federations and federated services. Cloud Service Security and Risk Manager manages security and risks and oversees security compliance. Network provider is responsible for network connectivity, network services delivery, management of network services. Let's discuss some of the key roles performed by the cloud service partner. Cloud service developer develops cloud components and services and tests and validates these services. Cloud auditor performs audits as well as prepares and authors audit reports. Cloud Service Broker provides a marketplace for approved services, gets new customers, manages contracting, and securely integrates cloud services with on prem applications. The next topic is cloud service capabilities. There are three primary cloud service capabilities. The first one is infrastructure service capability. Here, the cloud customer can provision and maintain granular control over compute, storage, and network resources. Platform service capability. Here, the cloud customer can run code and develop applications using programming libraries that are managed and controlled by the cloud service provider. Software service capability. Here, the cloud customer can use applications that are fully developed and managed by the cloud service provider. Let's talk about shared responsibility model. Security in the cloud environment follows the shared responsibility model where vendors and customers have different responsibilities depending upon the category of cloud service. The image here shows what the cloud service provider is responsible for in a cloud environment according to the cloud service model, like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Now let's discuss the cloud service categories. The first one is infrastructure as a service. This is the most basic of cloud service offerings. Here, the cloud service customer can provision and use compute, storage, networking, and other services. Infrastructure as a service allows the customer to install software, including operating systems, on hardware housed and connected by the cloud vendor. In this model, the cloud provider has a data center with racks, machines, cables, utilities, and administers all these things. That is, the underlying infrastructure is fully managed by the cloud service provider. However, all logical resources like software are the responsibility of the customer. Infrastructure as a service might be an optimum solution for organizations that want enhanced control over the security of their data, or organizations which have special requirements for the operating systems, or organizations looking to the cloud for a limited purpose such as BCDR, business continuity, disaster recovery, or archiving purposes. It is usually the least expensive cloud option in terms of what the customer pays the provider. Let's understand some of the key characteristics and benefits of infrastructure as a service. The first one is reduced total cost of ownership. In infrastructure as a service, customers do not need to spend money on buying and managing hardware upfront or as the need for additional resources grow. That is, there is no replacement cost, no maintenance cost, also reduced energy and cooling costs along with green IT environment effect with optimum use of IT resources and systems. Customers are able to trade capital expenditure for operational expenditure. Customers also benefit from the cloud provider paying for and managing physical security of the data centers. Scalability. Scalability with infrastructure as a service model, additional resources can be procured, provisioned, and expanded quickly and with ease to support growing demand. Whereas on-premise solutions would require a customer to purchase and set up new servers to support increased utilization. Infrastructure as a service allows automatic scaling when necessary. Self-service and on-demand capacity. This requires an online resource or customer portal that allows the customers to have complete visibility and awareness of the virtual infrastructure as a service environment they currently utilize. It additionally allows customers to acquire, remove, manage, and report on resources without the need to engage or speak with resources internally or with the provider. Availability and reliability. Infrastructure as a service provides customers with load balancing and redundancy across vast infrastructures that can span many regions or even countries. These vast infrastructures provide customers with assurance that their resources will be highly available and resilient against availability attacks like DDoS. Metered or measured usage. Usage is measured and priced on the basis of units or instances consumed. This can also be billed back to specific departments or functions in an organization. Combined network and IT capacity pool. From a customer's perspective, the pool appears seamless and endless for both the servers and the network. These are driven and focused at all times in supporting and meeting relevant platform and application SLAs. The next one is platform as a service. This contains everything included in infrastructure as a service with the addition of operating systems. The cloud vendor usually offers a selection of operating systems so that the customer can use any or all of the variable available choices. The vendor is responsible for patching, administrating, and updating the operating system as necessary, and the customer can install any software they deem useful. Platform as a service model is especially useful for customers involved in software development as the customer can test their software in an isolated environment without the risk of damaging production capabilities and determine the viability of this software across a range of operating systems. Also, this allows the developers to focus on developing the applications instead of the infrastructure and the other overheads. Let's talk about the key characteristics and benefits of platform as a service. Auto scaling. As resources are needed or not needed, the system can automatically adjust the sizing of the environment to meet demands without interaction from the customer. This is especially important for those systems whose load is cyclic in nature, and it allows an organization to only configure and use what is actually needed so as to minimize idle resources. Multiple host environments. With the cloud provider responsible for the actual platform, the customer has a wide choice of operating systems and environment. This feature allows software and application developers to test or migrate their systems between environments to determine the most suitable and most efficient platform for their applications to be hosted under without having to spend time configuring and building new systems on physical servers. Choice of environment. The choice of environment not only extends to actual operating systems, but it also allows enormous flexibility as to specific versions and flavors of operating systems. Flexibility. Platform as a service offers flexibility. Platform as a service model offers development teams enormous flexibility. Platform as a service model provides the development teams an enormous help in testing and moving between platforms or even cloud providers. This is very limited in the traditional data center settings. Ease of upgrades, with the underlying operating systems and platforms being offered by the cloud provider, upgrades and changes are more simple and efficient than in a traditional data center model. Cost effective. Like with other cloud categories, platform as a service offers significant cost savings for development teams because only systems that are actively and currently used incur costs. Ease of access. With cloud services being accessible from the internet and regardless of access client, development teams can easily collaborate across national and international boundaries. Licensing. In platform as a service model, the cloud provider is responsible for handling proper licensing of operating systems and platforms. These costs are assumed as part of the metered costs for services. Software as a service. Software as a service includes everything in infrastructure as a service and platform as a service with the addition of software programs. The cloud vendor becomes responsible for administrating, patching, and updating this software as well. The cloud customer is basically only involved in uploading and processing data on a full production environment hosted by the provider. Google Docs, Microsoft Office 365 are a few of the examples of software as a service models. Let's discuss some of the key characteristics and benefits of software as a service. Support costs and efforts. In software as a service model, the cloud services are solely the responsibility of the cloud provider. Because the customer only licenses access to the software platform and capabilities, the entire underlying system from networks to storage and operating systems, as well as the software and application platforms themselves, is entirely removed from the responsibility of the customer. This enables the customer to focus solely on productivity and business operations instead of IT operations. Reduced overall costs. The customer in a software as a service environment is responsible only for licensing the use of the software. Their customer does not need to have system administrators or security staff on hand, or nor do they need to purchase hardware and software, plan for redundancy and disaster recovery, perform security audits on infrastructure, or deal with utility and environmental costs. Apart from licensing access for appropriate resources, features, and user accounts, the cloud customer might be responsible for training the users in the use of the application platform and the device or computer access that their employees or users need to use the system. Licensing. Customers no longer need to purchase licenses, support, and associated costs because licensing is leased and is relevant only when in use. Additionally, purchasing or bulk licensing and associated capital expenditure is removed and replaced by pay-per-use licensing model. Ease of use and administration. With software as a service implementations being a fully featured software installation and product, the cost and effort of administration are substantially lowered as compared to the other cloud service categories. The customer only bears responsibility for configuring user access and access controls within the system, as well as minimum configurations. The configuration settings in software as a service is very restricted and may only allow slight tweaks to the user experience, such as default settings or possibly some degree of branding. Standardization. Because software as a service is fully featured software application, all users will by definition be running the exact same version of the software at all times. A major challenge that many development and implementation teams face relates to patching and versioning as well as configuring baselines and requirements. This can be completely eliminated in software as a service model because this is all handled by the cloud provider and it is achieved automatically. Cloud deployment models. In addition to viewing cloud offerings in terms of what levels of services are involved, another perspective has to do with ownership. That is the cloud deployment models. There are four main cloud deployment models: public, private, hybrid, and community. The selection of a cloud deployment model will depend on many number of factors and may be highly influenced by the organization's risk appetite, cost, compliance and regulatory requirements, legal obligations, and other internal business decisions and strategies. Let's understand what is public cloud deployment model. Here the resources like hardware, software, facilities and staff are owned and operated by a vendor and then sold, leased or rented to anyone that is willing and able to pay for the services. That is, it is offered to the general public. Public clouds are multi-tenant environments, that is, multiple customers will share the underlying resources that are owned and operated by the provider. That means that a customer in a public cloud might be using a virtual machine that actually resides on the same hardware that hosts another virtual machine operated by the customer's direct competitor, and the customer has no way of knowing what other entities are using these same resources. Examples of public cloud vendors are Amazon Web Services, AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud. Let's discuss some of the benefits of public cloud model. Easy to set up and manage. In public cloud deployments, the cloud service provider owns and operates the infrastructure, which means the customer is not responsible to manage infrastructure like data center facilities, networking hardware, and operational expenses. In addition, public cloud commonly offer streamlined access to resources through easy to use interfaces. Highly scalable resources. Public clouds typically have vast infrastructures that are ready and able to handle heavy workloads. Resource efficiency and cost effective. Customers don't have to worry about wasted resources as public clouds automatically scale customers' resources up or down based on their usage and bill them only for what they use. Unused resources from one customer can be used by another. Private cloud deployment model. It is dedicated to a single organization comprising multiple customers, for example, business units. Private clouds are not multi-tenant environments. A private cloud might be owned and maintained by the organization. That is, an organization might own and operate a data center that serves as the cloud environment for the organization users, or a private cloud might be a set of resources like racks, blades, software packages owned by the single organization but located and maintained at the cloud provider's data center. The cloud provider might offer physical security, some basic administration services, and other utilities like power, internet connectivity for the customers' resources. This is sometimes referred to as co-lo or co-located environment. Another private cloud option is for the organization to contract with a cloud provider such that the provider offers exclusive use of specific resources for the customer inside what otherwise would be a public cloud. Basically, the provider carves out a portion of physical and logical section of the overall data center so that the customer will not share any of the resources in that section with other customers. Private cloud model is often used in large environments with compliance or regulatory requirements. Let's talk about some of the key benefits of private cloud deployment model. Increased ownership. With private clouds, the customer is the same party that owns and operates it. As such, private clouds give users a great level of ownership and the ability to control everything about it. One common example is for customers with data locations requirements. Say, for example, a bank may have regulations that requires its data remains within the European Union. The standard way to satisfy this requirement has historically been to build or use the private cloud that allows that bank to only let data travel to data centers within the EU. New offerings from some public cloud infrastructures are now allowing these customers to meet these types of requirements without managing their own private cloud. Higher level of system and data control. Private clouds give customers increased control over all resources. Private cloud customers can control things like bandwidth system patching, whereas these things are often only controlled by the cloud service provider in public clouds. The next one is the community cloud deployment model. Here, the cloud infrastructure is provisioned for exclusive use by specific community of consumers from organizations that have shared concerns like mission, security requirements, policy, and compliance considerations. It may be owned, managed, and operated by one or more of the organizations in the community, or a third party, or a combination of them. The community cloud model can exist on or off premises. Community cloud benefits typically mirror those of public clouds like scalability, flexibility, resource efficiency, and so on, but also gets added benefits from all members of the cloud user base sharing a common set of privacy, security, or compliance requirements. The next one is hybrid cloud model. Here, the cloud infrastructure is a combination of two or more distinct cloud infrastructures, that is, a combination of private, community, or public cloud deployment models that remain unique entities but are bound together by standardized or proprietary technology that enables data and application portability. When using the hybrid cloud deployment, customers are generally seeking public cloud features and scalability with private or community cloud control. Let's talk about some of the benefits of hybrid cloud model. Reuse of existing infrastructure and technology. Many customers want the benefits and features that public cloud provides, but they may already have an expensive infrastructure that is up and running. Hybrid cloud allows customers to reap the benefits of public cloud while utilizing their private clouds as necessary. Hybrid cloud is sometimes a stepping stone for customers dipping their toe in the cloud waters, but there are often compliance, legal, or other business reasons for customers maintaining private cloud or on premises infrastructure. Control over critical or sensitive systems. With hybrid cloud deployment models, customers are able to keep data that they are most concerned about in their private cloud while moving less sensitive data to a public cloud. By sharing characteristics of public and private or community clouds, customers are able to maintain a high level of control and ownership without missing out on the benefits that public cloud provides. Disaster recovery support. One common use for hybrid cloud is in supporting disaster recovery. Customers already running on a fully functional private cloud can benefit from the redundancy and reliability assurance that many public clouds provide. Customers can continue to use their private clouds as normal but can configure their resources to fail over to the public clouds in the event of a disaster. Because the public cloud would be used only in emergency cases, customers will usually incur little or no costs under normal circumstances as you are billed only for what you use. Cloud bursting. Another common Cloud bursting. Another very common use for a hybrid cloud is supporting cloud bursting. Cloud bursting is dynamic development of applications that normally run on a private cloud into a public cloud to meet expanding capacity requirements and handle increased demands when private cloud resources are insufficient. The next topic is cloud shared considerations. Moving to the cloud is not only a technology decision but also a business decision. As with any business decision, we must consider several factors before moving forward. In this section, we will learn about some of the cross-cutting aspects that needs to be considered when thinking about moving the data to the cloud. Interoperability. It is the ability for two or more systems to seamlessly work together by sharing information and using that information as necessary. It is also the ability to split up and reuse components throughout the systems and applications. In cloud systems, interoperability ensures that cloud services can understand standard data formats, APIs, and identification and authorization mechanisms so that these cloud based systems are able to work with the organization's existing technologies or even other clouds. Standard-based products, processes, and services are essential because to ensure that the investment do not become prematurely technologically obsolete, to ensure that organizations are able to easily change cloud service providers flexibly and cost effectively support their mission and to ensure that the organizations can economically acquire commercial and develop private clouds using standard based products, processes, and services. So make sure to avoid proprietary format. Portability. Portability is the ability to easily and seamlessly move between different cloud providers or cloud deployment models. This can be for disaster recovery reasons, locality diversity, or high availability, for example. Portability is the most affected in the case of vendor lock-in. Containerization supports portability by packaging workloads in a standardized manner. A couple of things to remember here are to avoid proprietary formats and technology, to ensure favorable contract terms, and to have an exit strategy from day one. Reversibility. Reversibility is the ability of a cloud customer to take all their systems and data out of a cloud provider and have assurances from the cloud service provider that all the data has been securely and completely removed within an agreed upon time. Availability. It is one of the pillars of information security and one of the greatest considerations for organizations moving to the cloud. When an organization relies on a cloud provider for their infrastructure, platform, or application, the cloud provider's failure to deliver can mean substantial impact to the customer's business. It's not uncommon for cloud service providers to commit to 99.9% or higher availability. Failure to meet this commitment can result in penalties, loss of customers, and even damage to brand reputation. Security. Security is, of course, always a paramount concern for any system or application. Depending on company policy and any regulatory or contractual requirements, different applications and systems will have their own specific security requirements and controls. This becomes a topic of interest in cloud environments because many customers use the same tenant within the same framework, and the cloud provider needs to ensure each customer that their controls are being met and done so in a way that the cloud provider can support with varying requirements. The main way a cloud provider implements security is by setting baselines and minimum standards while offering a suite of add ons or extensions to security that typically come with an additional cost. Privacy. In the world of cloud computing, privacy presents a major challenge for both customers and providers alike. The reason for this is because there is no uniform or international privacy directives, laws, regulations, or controls. This leads to a separate and segmented measure of laws and regulations being applicable depending on the geographical location where the information might reside or be transmitted. The location and legislative requirements should be specified within the relevant SLAs and contracts. For many European entities and organizations, failure to ensure appropriate provisions and controls have been applied can violate European Union data protection laws and obligations that can lead to various issues and implications. Remember that within Europe, privacy is considered as a human right. Resilience. It is the ability of a cloud service data center and its associated components, including servers, storage, and so on, to continue operating in the event of disruption, which may be equipment failure, power outage, or natural disaster. This is where monitoring, redundancy, and high availability come into play. Performance. Cloud computing and high performance should go hand in hand at all times. For optimum performance to be experienced throughout the use of cloud services, the provisioning, the elasticity, and other associated components should always focus on performance. Performance should be focused on the network, the compute, the storage, and the data. With these four elements influencing their design, integration, and development activities, the performance should be boosted and enhanced throughout. It is always harder to refine and amend performance once design and development have been completed. Governance. Governance relates to the policies, procedures, rules, and responsibilities in place to ensure security, privacy, resilience, and performance. Governance is required at the start of any cloud migration and continues throughout the entire lifetime of a cloud deployment. The ability to schedule and automate reporting enhances governance activities and allows customers to focus on their mission. Service Level Agreement (SLA). It is an agreement between a cloud service provider and cloud customer that identifies the minimum level of services that must be maintained. SLA gives customers assurance that they are getting what they expect and provides remedies like fee reimbursement if those agreed upon expectations are not met. The key term here is measurable, and SLA should include specific metrics. Examples of some of the items in a service level agreement are: how much uptime is the cloud service provider committing to? What are the standard and maximum response times? Maintenance and versioning. With the different types of cloud service categories, it is important for the contract and SLA to clearly spell out maintenance responsibilities. With a software as a service implementation, the cloud provider is basically responsible for all of the upgrades, patching, and maintenance, whereas with platform as a service and certainly infrastructure as a service, some duties belong to the cloud customer while rest are retained by the cloud provider. Outlining maintenance and testing practices and timelines within the SLA is particularly important for applications that may not always work correctly because of new versions or changes to the underlying systems. This requires the cloud provider and the cloud customer to work out a balance between the needs of the cloud provider to maintain uniform environment and the needs of the cloud customer to ensure continuity of operations and system stability. Whenever a system upgrade or maintenance is performed, it is crucial to establish version numbers for platforms and software. With versioning, changes can be tracked and tested with known versions available to fallback to if necessary due to problems with new versions. There should be an overlap where a previous version is available, which should be spelled out in the SLM. Auditability. Most leading cloud providers supply their customers with a good deal of auditing, including reports and evidence that show user activity, compliance with controls and regulations, systems and processes that run, and an explanation of what they do, as well as information, data access, and modification records. Auditability of a cloud environment is an area where we need to pay more attention because the customer does not have full control over the environment like in a proprietary or traditional data center model. Auditability increases the confidence of the cloud customer in the cloud service provider. It is up to the cloud provider to expose auditing logs and reports to the customer and show diligence and evidence that they are capturing all events within their environment and properly reporting them. Regulatory. Regulatory requirements are those imposed upon a business and its operations either by law, regulation, policy, or standards and guidelines. These requirements are specific to the locality in which the company or application is based or specific to the nature of the data and transactions conducted. These requirements can carry financial, legal, or even could have criminal penalties for failure to comply either willfully or accidentally. Some of the regulations are the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, HIPAA, in the healthcare sector, the Federal Information Security Management Act, FISMA, for US federal agencies and contractors, the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, PCI DSS, for the financial or retail sectors. The next one is the topic of impact of related technologies. Machine learning and artificial intelligence. Both of these concepts refer to programs and machines being able to acquire, process, correlate, and interpret information and then apply that in various capabilities without needing direct input from users or programs. Many security products claim to have machine learning or artificial intelligence capabilities like firewalls, intrusion detection or prevention systems, that is IDS, IPS, antivirus solutions, and so on. Many cloud vendors are now offering ML and AI as a service. These have a wide variety of applications like security automation, language services, intelligent search and document processing, fraud detection, media intelligence, business forecasting, and so on. Blockchain. Blockchain is a public ledger consisting of a digital chain of blocks storing information. It is a means of conveying value using encryption techniques and algorithms. It is often referred to as cryptocurrency. It is basically a transactional ledger where all participants can view every transaction, thus making it extremely difficult to negatively affect the integrity of past transactions. Unique cryptographic hashes are used to distinguish the blocks from each other. Blockchain can be perceived as a cloud technology because each record, that is the block, is distributed among all participants regardless of location, type of device, jurisdiction, and so forth in a distributed or cloud based manner. Containers. A container is a small package of code that includes an application, its dependencies, and libraries. The container then uses the underlying container operating system it runs on for other services such as networking. Containers are very small and require very few resources and can be scalable very quickly. Containers are designed to do a single job. This allows for separating services into individual containers to increase resiliency and security. Containers are logical segmentation of memory space in a device, creating two or more abstract areas that cannot interface directly. This is commonly used in bring your own device environment where employees use their personal devices for work. The containers distinguish two distinct partitions, one for work functions or data and the other for personal functions or data. This gives the employer or data owner additional assurance that the data will not be accidentally or casually lost or stolen. Internet of Things. Nowadays, it seems like every device has internet connectivity. For example, cameras, vehicles, toys, household appliances, and so on. This is collectively referred to as Internet of Things, IoTs. The distributed nature of these devices and their connection to and placement in networks lend them some cloud characteristics. Many cloud vendors offer IoT services, including creating images for devices, cloud based data analysis, integrating with artificial intelligence. IoT devices without proper security can be subverted and used in attacks. Quantum computing. Quantum computing is an emerging technology that could allow IT systems to operate beyond binary math. Instead of using the presence of electrons for calculations, quantum computing may use subatomic characteristics to provide computation on an exponentially larger scale. This accelerates the machine's ability to perform calculations or operations dramatically. This is not yet commercially available. Homomorphic encryption. This is a theoretical phenomenon that would allow processing of encrypted material without needing to first decrypt it. If this can be a practical implementation, this could allow customers to upload encrypted data to the cloud and still utilize the data without ever sharing encryption keys with the cloud provider or having to otherwise accommodate decryption as part of the process. This will make the use of cloud environments much more appealing to customers with highly valuable or sensitive data. Okay, this is the end of part 1.2 of Domain 1. If it was helpful to you in any way, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.